Good morning, all. Kind of changing things up here just a little bit. This is kind of how things work around here. I don't have a shop to work out of. I don't have a fancy garage or a fancy title. Everything I do is old school, shade tree, literally. I work on the slab in front of my house under shade trees, at least as long as the weather will let me. None of my stuff is bought, it's built. I go ahead and put things together with what I've got. I've been parting out a truck for my son-in-law. It wasn't running right. It had so many wiring issues from rodent damage that it wasn't worth messing around with. The chassis had 316,000 miles on it. The engine was out of a van that was swapped in at some point. No history on it. Came to find out that it's not even a 360, it's a 318. I discovered that yesterday while I was underneath working on it. But in the meanwhile, I've been going ahead and taking parts off of it, selling them, and I went ahead and cannibalized the muffler for Ethyl. There's a Flowmaster on there. I got rid of the junkyard XJ muffler and catalytic converter that I put on Ethyl as a stopgap. And so here's things as they stand now. This is the ugly truckling. This is the one I've been parting out for Michael. It's got the Ford wheels on it that were on Ethyl. They're rollers, they hold air. I've been selling parts as people have been requesting them. The tires on this truck were literally brand new. Michael had them put on before the truck stopped running, probably days before the truck stopped running right, and then parked the truck. So I'm going to go ahead and have those tires dismounted, and we'll sell those. And then in the meanwhile, these Ford rims will work fine as I go ahead and move us forward and backwards. This is the slab I work off of. This is where it all happens. This was Ethyl's exhaust system. Came off of a salvage yard, 1995 Jeep Cherokee. I bought it from the tow company that went ahead and impounded it. I actually worked the impound on it. It was abandoned on the side of the interstate, and when the record driver came out to pick it up, I told him I'd go ahead and give him $400 for it if the owner decided they didn't want it anymore or didn't come back for it. A few months later, he went ahead and contacted me. He said, yeah, the owner showed up, but he didn't want to pay the impound fees. It's yours if you want it, if the offer still stands. And he offered to go ahead and give me the paperwork for the title on it. However, once I brought it home, I realized the floor was completely rusted out, and the only thing holding the seats in place was the carpet. It was an Indiana vehicle, so I told him I wasn't worried about the title paperwork. I just went ahead and parted it out, and this is probably the last piece of that vehicle that didn't go ahead and get scrapped or sold. And now for Ethyl. I went ahead and monkeyed around with the exhaust system on her yesterday. I want to go ahead and put turnouts, bring them out underneath the floorboard, or excuse me, not the floorboard, the running board on the passenger side. With the Flowmaster on there, it's a little bit noisy in the cab, a lot more so than it was with that choked off Jeep stuff. 4-liter Jeep motor, or 4-liter Jeep muffler is nothing for this truck. It just kind of restricts it down. And after Marty went ahead and got me the tune, she runs so much better. I actually drove her down the road yesterday. Not very far, but far enough to let me know that, yeah, she's happy. She shifts through all the gears. And I want to go ahead and start putting some more miles on her as soon as I can. And I'll show you what things are looking like underneath me. There's the Flowmaster. It's all up in place. Everything's welded. I just need to go ahead and put some turnouts here to go ahead and bring it out. I'll probably go ahead and trim it off just a little bit more, and then I'll go ahead and put the turnouts and bring it out underneath this running board right here. I think that should work out nicely. All right, this is what she sounds like with the new exhaust. bit louder, obviously. I think the turnouts will help, but here we go. It looks like I probably need to replace this alternator because at idle, she's crap. Once you come up off idle, it does fine, but idle is crap. So anyway, there's that part of the mess. This is Michael's Jeep project. Our plan is to go ahead and put a Cummins R2.8 and AX15 in for drivetrain. We picked this up in Tulsa a couple months ago. It was a 4-cylinder 5-speed Jeep at one point in time, but the motor and transmission were already gone out of it when we picked it up. It's just a matter of waiting until things go ahead and fall into place for Michael to go ahead and order his engine, and then we're going to start in on that project in earnest, hopefully here in the next month or so, because I'd really hate to be working on this thing in the wintertime, because that out there is my shop. I put this framework up several years ago, about 13 years ago, before Kim got hurt. The plan was for a 30 by 30 shop with a slab floor, and then 15-foot loafing sheds on either side of it, also with slab floors, which would go ahead and give me a pretty decent space to work out of, plus storage space on the sides. Things kind of got changed up, and so until I get a slab, I'm stopping right where I'm at. There's no point in going any further. Hopefully things will go ahead and get sorted out, and we'll go ahead and get a slab floor in there, and I can go ahead and skin this sucker, and I'll have an actual shop to work out of. But in the meanwhile, it's strictly shade tree. Well, that's it. That's where things stand today. Like I said, I'm going to try and work on Ethyl's exhaust a little bit. I've got to thank Marty Fletcher at Utah Awesome Performance. The tune is amazing. I'm going to go ahead and do a little video later on driving Ethyl, give you kind of an idea. After I installed the tune, I went ahead and pulled it out on the driveway and gave it a run. Gave it a run down the driveway, and I was surprised, happily surprised. I had gone ahead and got on the throttle out here with Ethyl and ran down the driveway to the road, which is about 600 feet, give or take. And when I got on it, the difference was absolutely amazing. The camshaft that I put in the truck was on the verge of being quote-unquote computer compatible. However, it really didn't like to idle much. It'd load up, and about mid-range, it kind of hit a flat spot. It just kind of would build and hold, and once it got clear of the flat spot, it took off like a rocket. And now you go ahead and pull out from idle and get into the throttle, just roll onto it, and it just pulls solid and fast and hard. And I have no idea how fast I was going by the time I got to the end of the driveway where I needed to slow down, but it came up in a hurry. It was a lot of fun and pleasant surprise. So thank you again, Marty. You are the man, brother.